Hey there all, and welcome to my channel. And in this video I'm going to show you how to create an interactive 3D card only using CSS and HTML. And the card tilts according to our cursor position. So usually what we need is a JavaScript to do this, but in this video I'm just gonna show you how to create this using only CSS. And let me show you that by starting with our HTML file. So here I have the title and the link to my external CSS, and inside the body I have a div with the class name of container as the main div, and inside that I have 3 spans: top left, top right, top bottom left, and bottom right, and then finally a class named card. So I will show you what the span does later in the video, but this card here is basically the card that you can see here. So let me just move on to my CSS file. As you can see, I've already normalized everything by setting margin and padding to 0, and then body I have given a white background, 100 VH, and centered everything using flex. And in the container, which is the main div, I have given position relative and a perspective of 500 pixels, and I will explain what the perspective does later on the video. And here I have a card with background color of white itself, and height and width that I have hard coded 350 pixels and 240 pixels in width, and also border radius of 10 pixels, and then box shadow of just a 0, 0 and 20 pixels for its blur radius, and transition 0.5 seconds. That's for when we add the animation, I mean the hover animation. So yeah, let's go the span right now. So span span. Okay, I need to display block so that it can take the whole width of the, you can take the whole specified width because it was a span element. So right, and then I'll give it a width of 50 pixels and height of 50 pixels itself. 50%, not pixels, sorry. And also a background color so you can see it. Ground color of black with just a alpha channel or a transparency so you can see it clearly. Alright, and also let me just and then sorry guys, wait a sec. Okay, okay, percent, and then position absolute. Okay, so right now we can't see it, but we'll see it when we specify the Z index to 1. Alright, and then specify the Z index, but it's not working. Alright, sorry, I just used .span. Actually, span is not a class but an element right here, and these are the class names. So let me just save it. Alright, there you go, we can see a perfect div right there. So yeah, but there is only one div. What am I gonna do with it? Well, here comes the classes for the help. So let me just show you. Positioning spans, just for you to understand. So control slash, it will get commented out. So it's just a comment, it won't do anything with the code. All right. Yeah, so starting with our top wait a second. All right, starting with our top left, I'm gonna let it to tab 0. So it will be working when because I have written position absolute here. So if it's not there, the positioning won't work. So top 0 and left 0. So what this basically means is that the top left class is gonna be right here, top to the card and left of it. So here I will use top right, dot top right, and top 0, 0 and right 0. So there you go, we have an element here to the right. And notice the color difference. That's because this one has 3 more spans inside of it. Remember, we specified 4 spans. So 1 span is out, so we have 3 spans inside, and we can do it to the bottom also. Bottom, left, bottom 0 and right, left 0, and to a bottom right, bottom 0 and right 0. Alright, now if we save it, is this the correct class? Copy it and paste it. Alright, so there was some spelling mistakes right there. Anyway, so as you can see, there are 4 divs here. So in order for you to see more clearly, let me just give it a margin. So margin, and in this case we need to use -2 pixels, not XP, pixels. Okay, and also border radius of 10 pixels. Alright, now it's looking nice and tidy now, and here we have a small space here, and we actually need that, so let it be there, and I will explain why it is used later on. So trust me, I will show you how whatever I said I will tell you later on, my perspective. So right now it's time for let's just say revealing all the mysteries to the interactive 3D card. So let me just show you hover effects, and that's also gonna be that's also gonna be commented out so you can understand more clearly. So yeah, dot span hover. This is gonna have a cursor pointer, so it just have a, it will just not dot span, just span. Oh god, how many times I'm gonna get it wrong. So we have a can't whenever we hover here, and in this cavity, small cavity right here, there are no cursor pointer, which means it's not working when we hover, and we actually need it like that. Alright, now let's do the card animation. So for that, I'm using that top right hover. So when I hover the top right, I need the card to dot card so this is basically a selector. So when I hover the top right, I need the card to make changes. So, and the change will be transform, rotate X 5 degree, and rotate Y 10 degree, negative 10 degree. So I need to understand one thing, that when the rotate X, when we specify rotate X, it's gonna rotate on the vertical side of things, and when we specify rotate Y, it's gonna rotate the horizontal direction. And you might be thinking, well, in a plane it doesn't work that way. Well, that's because we are specifying everything in a 3-dimensional way. Remember the perspective I said? Well, it's gonna come into play right here. So, and also one more thing, I will just give it a full transparency. Alright, and it's not working that way. Well, that's because we need to specify one more thing here, which is this I forgot its name, this squiggly looking worm symbol, which you can find in the keyboard right below the escape key. And basically what that does is, it's basically a CSS operator. So it's gonna select all the siblings, which means usually when we use usually when we connect this hover with another class or a div, we can just use space, but there is a condition. It should be inside the element, giving the element changing should be inside of the hovered element. But here the hovered element is in the right, hovered element is inside the container or the div as the card. So they are both siblings, which means they both belong to the same div container. So that's why we use this symbol to specify that when this sibling is hovered, we need this sibling to be changed. Alright, now let's just see. Oh, sorry. First we need to do top left. Alright. There you go. You can see the card is changing, and that's where the perspective comes in. So if we don't have the perspective, there you go. We can barely notice the change, and that's why I said that the rotate X is gonna change the vertical axis and rotate Y is gonna change on the horizontal axis. So whenever it's turning on the horizontal side, it's Y axis, and on the vertical side it's X axis, and that's basically because it's on a 3D plane. So we can also add Z axis, but we don't need it right now. So yeah, perspective basically allows us to do 3D stuff using CSS. Now we need to copy it and paste it, and that's why we used the spans. So let me just increase its transparency. So each span will have each corners where we can hover and change the position of the card. Alright. Okay, we also need to change the box shadow. Copy it and paste it. So 10 pixels, 10 pixels. There you go. Now we can get a more effective looking one. Okay, here also copy and paste. Copy this one and paste it. And instead of right left, here is gonna be right. And instead of rotating X5, I'm gonna use positive 10. Alright, okay, this is gonna be minus, and the box shadow here we have X offset and Y offset. We need the X offset to be minus. Alright, and rinse and repeat for everyone. Alright, that's how we do 3D card using only CSS. So whoever says we cannot do certain things using CSS and can be only done with JavaScript, get out of the room. We can do 3D interactive card using CSS only. We don't need JavaScript. Well, we need to do when we need the exact point, when you need to change the look of the card using the exact point, but for just 4 corners, this is enough. Well, I mean it really looks great. So we have the hover effects, we have the positioning of the span, and that's why we need the span just for the just for specifying the 4 corners here, and to change the perspective of the card according to that point, and all the basic stuff here. And I'll put the link down, or put the link of my Codepen right down in the description. Please do check it out and see if you have any doubts, and let me know down in the comments your doubts and I will explain it to you. And yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed this video and learned something new on the way. Until the next video, goodbye.